said whatever to you. Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Beloved Chatters, where we get to know more about the fans of streaming shows rather than the actual streamers. We have our first return guest of the day, American Cupcake, who's having a little bit of a connection issue. Hopefully, you'll stick with us. How are you doing today, American Cupcake?
I am doing very well. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning from Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas today, and you are all over the place. With what type of cargo are you hauling today?
Actually, I don't have any cargo right now. I had a direct run from Far, Texas, which is like 5 miles from the border of Mexico, and it was just a direct run to Houston. So I picked it up at like 5 o'clock last night, and I had to run it direct. And actually, no, I got there at 5, and I didn't get loaded till about 9:30. So I got to Houston at like 3 o'clock in the morning, got some sleep, and
be loaded
right
while
on.
you're on the job. That's inappropriate. We're gonna have to cut that part out. Damn
Yeah,
it.
well, I dropped my
load
in Houston. You already lost.
Yep,
All
already
right.
lost my Jim Norton, and we're
seconds
dropping
in.
10 seconds in, and I already used my Jim Norton crutch to cut that part out. We already got a dropping loads from Howard Stern. But today, we're not talking about our love of Opie and Anthony. We are or Howard Stern. We're talking about our love of Mel Brooks. You and I went off on quite the conversation of our love of Mel Brooks movies. So we decided to do a countdown of his top movies. I actually ended up watching all of them. He has 11 movies he directed, one movie that he starred in and was the producer of that we'll be talking about as well. So we've got our top 9, his bottom 1, and a mention for the 2 that aren't ranked as we go through the list of Mel Brooks movies today. And first up, I did rank this myself. So American Cupcake, I think, might have a little difference, especially there's one I ranked a bit high. So we will get to those as we go through them. The first one up, The Producers, was Mel Brooks's very first movie. And I've got a little clip here giving the premise of the movie of 2 producers trying to con their way into a fortune.
Mrs. Eleanor Biddlecombe. She also owns 50% of the profits.
Also,
Mrs. Elma Wentworth. She owns 100% of the profits.
Leah, how much percentage of a play can there be altogether?
Max, you can only sell 100% of anything.
And how much of Springtime for Hitler have we sold?
25,000%.
So they're setting up the premise. I'll get this right one of these times. I'm used to talking to clips. That's why I just go right to the clips double shot instead of with my guest.
You're good, dude.
Mel Brooks, as we can see throughout his film career, has an adoration for live theater and performing on stage. He works that into a lot of movies. So this is just all about that.
Oh my God. I'm right now years old and realize, yes, he does have a lot of like big production musical type stuff in a lot of his movies.
Yeah, I took notes of that as we go through these movies of the big dancing and singing numbers that he has in all his movies. And that's just what this was all about, was his love of live theater. And I'm sure that he put on some live theater shows himself. That I haven't looked into his pre-film career that much, but this is probably something that crossed his mind at one point after having so many flops that he absolutely loved. Oh, well, what if I made a flop on purpose? Holy cow. If I made a flop on purpose, I could actually make more money than with these ones I'm trying to be a success.
Right.
So and he did, I put this at the bottom of the list. This was his first movie. There's obviously not as big of a budget as there are for other Mel Brooks movies. And a lot of 2 guys in a room. And that's, I've talked about Saw being a great low budget horror movie because it's 2 guys in a room for a vast majority of the movie. So we've got our two leading characters just in a room for a good amount of this. Have you ever seen the remake or the theater production?
Of the Producers?
Of the Producers?
I've not.
Yeah, I'm curious to check that out. because I'm sure Mel Brooks looked at this and said, I don't think a modern audience would really be into this. I can do it better so people can hold this in a high regard, just like the other films that I have. And this, as I mentioned, it's very simple film. There's very little he needed to do to this 1967 version to get it all ready for a theater production, because nothing too outrageous. And the big foible that they had, their plan gets ruined because they make it so bad that it's like The Room. It turns around and people adore the campiness. It was the casting of Hitler. They have a beatnik Hitler. Oh, baby man, what's going on with Poland, man?
Lorenzo Dubois, LSD for short.
Yeah, man, LSD. So, and he has a big psychedelic musical audition that they focus on for a bit. I do love a running theme also in Mel Brooks movies are men being perverts. There are booby ladies just strewn throughout, which the audience enjoys. A good amount of the audience enjoys those booby ladies, and they work for a great gag as well, of just for no reason. Here's some massive cleavage.
Hello, boys. I missed you.
And in this one, we have Zero Mostel is the experienced producer, and he's down on his luck. He is reduced to seducing old ladies to make his productions work nowadays. And once he has all this money that he's conning them out of, he buys himself a present. A sexy secretary who doesn't speak a lick of English.
Right.
And when he tells her go to work, her work is turning on some funky music and just dancing around.
Dancing around, yeah, that's right. That's right.
So a lot of fun for both the audience and satire on men being perverts. He's able to let us be perverts and be in on the joke of being perverts at the same time in many of his movies.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like 95% of guys are like that, but it's they do it like this, like we're doing right now. Like, yeah, look at that over there. I mean, they're not lecherous, come on.
Yeah, he
shout out to a good set of tits.
And he is a fan of a good too. Yeah, he does it just very well, letting us be perverts and get in on the gag of laughing at our pervertedness at the same time. Right. He walks that line very well, and gets into that right out of the box with his first movie, The Producers, which I do rank as his number 9 best movie. And as I said, need to check out the theater production, need to check out the 2005 remake, because I bet that they tuned it up very nicely for a modern eye. He does very well.
Here was my problem with the remake. The Nathan Lane, like he seemed. Obviously I haven't seen it, so I'm going into but to me, he was just too effeminate to be the Zero Mostel character. I'm obviously wrong, because it's got like 187 million awards, and it's
huge
been
success,
going on for so obviously it's he makes it, but for I just could, when it first came out, I was like, Nathan Lane, like, okay, because Zero Mostel, like,
I thought he was a little bit effeminate, but just the proper amount for theater folk, because even and you're right, Nathan Lane does turn up that effeminateness a bit from what Zero Mostel does. I believe it's
right now.
A dash.
I love Nathan Lane. I love Nathan Lane. He is fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Love him. But I didn't think he, obviously I'm wrong, but I didn't believe he would be a good a good Zero Mostel. But I mean, I don't even know the character's name. But,
actually, a lot of these characters in my notes, I don't have their name written down. I just have Harvey Korman and Dick Van Patten, 2 of his go-tos. In my notes, I just have it written as the actor name many times.
I did Harvey Korman in the 2 movies. His character had had like a pun name. There was Hedy Lamar. Yeah, right. Hedley Lamar and
Hedley.
Count de Monet.
And talking of Nathan Lane, I believe that the movie is Mousetrap. I actually recently watched that. That's another throwback to like the old slapstick movies of early Hollywood. That's actually a very good throwback to the movies. I can't remember his co-stars' names, but as you were talking about it,
it was I believe it was the.
I know it's the cripple guy from Something About Mary.
Yeah,
but I can't remember the actor's name. He's only been in a few things that I know, and those two make a great updated Laurel and Hardy and everything duos. So yeah, also musical theater. I believe the updated one might be a full-on musical. I know it is for the stage, but we'll have to check that out. It makes even more sense if they change it to a full-on musical.
I think it is. I think it is too. I think it is. I think it is actually.
So that was our number 9 best Mel Brooks movie. We now move on to number 8, High Anxiety, which I adored as a kid. And
I did too.
His straight up parody movies. From 1977, he is now going down the parodying film genres very specifically. Road here in the rewatch, I'd say about 10 minutes too long. I do like him as the leading man. He's got the kind of love at first sight type. Actually, what I did make a note of was the musical number. In a lot of these movies, Madeline Kahn has the singing and dancing on stage musical number, but the musical number is just very much wedged in with Mel Brooks doing a little singing and dancing.
At the piano, right?
Singing the movie theme. High anxiety.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, anxiety.
You win. And it's not bad, but it's just very wedged in. And after I'd watched a whole bunch of Mel Brooks movies with Madeline Kahn, that being her specialty of doing the singing and dancing on stage, looking all sexy, then I'm like, what's she doing on the fucking sidelines, Mel? You've got Madeline Kahn sitting there, and you're doing the musical? What's up, Mel? But he obviously loves doing the singing and dancing himself. The clip I pulled from this episode is just a kind of an establishing shot. I don't know if you remember the gag coming up, but we'll talk about the gag at the end of the clip as they zoom in on this scene.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you know what's coming.
I totally remember.
You didn't have the assignment to watch this beforehand, but you remember what's coming.
Oh, I've seen this a million times.
And Mel Brooks really enjoyed that camera gag. It's used again in Spaceballs in a big zoom on Dark Helmet where they zoom into his head and down. That's actually how High Anxiety ends. Is they do a different variation of this camera pulling back from the lovers getting married and they're on the bed kissing, and they back out and break the wall and pull out as they get the camera on the crane or the helicopter, whatever they had, and pull it back. Now you just need a drone, but back then it was a big production to get that pullback shot as you fade away from what was happening.
Because it was all done with like a crane and like there was, it was.
Yeah, it had to be a crane or a helicopter that they had to do that pullback shot and get that nice ending there. Fucking drones, easy as pie now. Any movie can have that shot. But yeah, a little more of a budget. What I remember most of this movie, my biggest memory was the death of Dick Van Patten. The plot is that Mel Brooks is taking the lead of this insane asylum, the Institute for the Very, Very Nervous, as they call it. Yes. And everyone's doing something shady. We uncover the plot as the movie goes around, but Dick Van Patten doesn't like being a part of it. And actually, there's a fun gag. I don't think I forgot to set up. He's just complaining to Nurse Diesel, rather.
Nurse Diesel,
Ratchet, from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Nurse Diesel.
Oh, yeah, isn't that's Cloris Leachman? That's right.
Yeah, Cloris Leachman. They ugly her up. They only uglied up Cloris Leachman. She never was in a Mel Brooks movie looking all good. They uglied her up for this, and they uglied her up for Young Frankenstein, and
History of the World.
Oh yes, that's right. That's the one. I think I mentioned it before, not as we went on air. I've watched that one within the past year. I gave myself all this homework to watch all these movies in a week. And that one, I was like, I watched this one in the past year. I won't have extensive notes on that, but that was your assignment. So you'll be taking the lead on History of the World Part 1 as it's fresher in your mind. Cloris Leachman, her death scene in this one, they're at the top of a clock tower after doing some Vertigo parody.
Yes.
And I didn't mention the big parody. It's of Alfred Hitchcock. It's a lot of Alfred Hitchcock parody. So after doing the Vertigo parody and being at the top of the clock tower, Cloris Leachman, for no reason whatsoever, is dressed up like a witch, lunges at our hero, and then falls down. She pulls out a broom. So you're like, oh, she's a witch the entire time. That's the big twist. No, she falls to her death.
Right.
with the broom in between her legs. It just, for no reason whatsoever, dressed like a witch and a fake out, like she's getting away. There could be a sequel. Nope. She's just as insane as the patients she's locking away.
I saw High Anxiety at my grandpa's house. He had it on VHS, and I just would always watch it. And I didn't even realize I was a kid, so I watched it, when as a kid. I didn't even know about Alfred Hitchcock. I didn't know about the movies. So when I started watching Alfred Hitchcock movies, I was like, hey, I've seen this before. And it wasn't until I was probably in high school when I realized, oh shit, High Anxiety is spoofing all of these movies. And my favorite part was the pigeons shitting on him with the birds.
Yeah, the birds. We still have the accumulation of birds, from the birds, but they're not attacking. They're not malicious. They're shitting on him. That's my favorite of the parodies as well. Is that we're doing birds, but no death. Bird shit, which is a real fear of being shit on by a bird. Right. My brother's been shit on by a bird twice. Me, never in my life. My brother's got awful luck. He could have been Martin Short in pure luck, but getting shit on by a bird twice. I've never had that bird shit happen to me.
I was driving in Montana, and there was a flock of geese flying, and I saw it coming from the one goose took a shit, and I saw it coming from the sky and just landed bam right on my windshield.
No.
Oh, dude, I was like, oh my god, it's gonna shit right out, and bam right there.
So that was a great one. Even if we haven't been shit on by a bird, we know someone who's been shit on,
right?
Or we just have an irrational fear of bird dookie.
Yeah.
But another scene that stuck out to me, Mel Brooks goes to a big conference, and it helps to get a variety in the settings. As I mentioned with the producers, not a big variety in the settings that they're in, a lower budget, trying to make that work. But the big joke really doesn't pay off when he's speaking at the conference, and there's one psychiatrist who couldn't find a sitter for his kids. And it's worth a few yucks when he's talking about pee-pee envy and a woman's woo-woo. It's worth a couple chuckles, but there is just such a big setup to it. When I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, it's fun, but that was a big setup for talking around dirty words.
Yeah, mediocre payoff.
Which is why it lands here at number 8 in the best Mel Brooks movies. Anything else before we move on to number 7?
I thought it, when I did finally see Psycho, I appreciated a lot more the shower scene in High Anxiety.
Here's
because
your
the
paper.
here's your paper. Are you
Here's
happy?
your
But
paper.
the ink of the paper going down the drain like the blood. I thought when I saw the blood, I was like, and I remembered back to High Anxiety. I was like, oh my God, High Anxiety. That was the perfect scene.
I'm glad you mentioned that before we left, because yeah, I did appreciate that as well, of the ink parodying the blood.
Yes,
trying to come up with what is our parody. We don't want to have blood. What do we do? Oh, he's just driven this bellboy crazy. Don't forget my paper. Don't forget my paper. Here's your paper. And he's a hippie with a hair very similar to Mother.
Yes. That was, I think that was the whole bit. But yeah, no, the black ink, and it's replicating the black, the black and white. That was cinematic genius. Good on you, Mel Brooks.
And
from Cupcake.
I don't know if he tried to get it to be cola. That's actually what they spilled down the drain in the original Psycho. I'm wondering if he tried to make cola work, and it was and hit a wall with that till he was like came up with the paper gag.
Yeah.
That seems like something as a filmmaker that he might have tried to make work until he came on something a bit more that made sense. And speaking of cola, our next movie up, silent movie, cola is actually the hero. They set it up nicely with a vending machine gag, and you don't realize that they're setting up setting up for later with a malfunctioning vending machine gag that saves the day. And I actually had very few memories of this. You wanted to cover this one, and I'm glad you brought this one up because this one is fun. I put it here at number 7. It's got a lot of celebrities, a lot of cameos, and I bet they all worked on the movie for like 1 or 2 days. Maybe some of the bigger ones 3 days, but they were able to get like extended cameos from Burt Reynolds and James Caan, Steve McQueen, of course Mel Brooks' wife, Anne Bancroft. Makes it, and
her scene is hilarious. That whole bit with her is hilarious.
She's got just a gaggle of slinging dicks around her, and she's presented as so glamorous.
Right, and then they just shit on her the whole time. She to be married to, and they're still like they were married for 127 million. Like they were married forever.
She passed away. They were one of the Hollywood couples that were till death do we part. Anne Bancroft passed away. They were still married. They got together. I don't know exactly when, sometime in the 70s, and stayed together the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and you could tell like when they would be out, you could tell like they were in love. Like they were made for each other. They were two puzzle pieces that fit together. Like they, and the fact that like, she was in his movies, and like she was a serious actress, and when she was in his movies, she was like, let's flip that script, baby. I got you, baby. I got you. Let's make these fucking funny movies.
I think actually I'll compare this to Bryan Cranston. Goofball Bryan Cranston can turn it on and be serious, and serious Anne Bancroft can turn it on and be a goofball
funny.
when it's proper. The clip I pulled from Silent Movie, I actually almost pulled the clips. YouTube would not like the title card.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you pulled this clip. Oh, I was watching this with my son, and we kind of laughed, and I was like, dude, this right here, this scene is what made this movie. Like,
in talking of the celebrities, they got Marcel Marceau, legendary mime and silent film actor, to come and be in this movie, and they make a phone call to Marcel Marceau.
Well, here, but before we get into this, let's get to the plot of the movie. The plot of the movie is Mel Brooks is a drunk, old drunk director. He's trying to get back. He's trying to get the new thing. And Marty Feldman and Dom DeLuise are his buddies, his partners. So they're trying to go around. And the thing with silent movie is it's a silent movie. So and it's all about sight gags. and the very first sight gag is they're in this, this little convertible, and it's Dom DeLuise's wife, the school marm from Blazing Saddles. She's pregnant, and she's like, "Oh, I have to get to the hospital." And they're like, "Come on." So she gets in the back of the car, and the car, because she's all pregnant and heavy, goes like this.
And then they just go down the road doing a wheelie
the whole time because they have a heavy. And then when they get to the hospital, and then Marty Feldman comes out, and Marty Feldman with his eyes, he's like,
yeah, he would be great as Harold Lloyd. I forget the other one, Harold Lloyd, or is it the other silent film actor? I get those confused. He would be a great. It would have been a fantastic pick to do a biopic of that guy. He has got those bulging out eyes of. I'm gonna have to look that up. Which one? Yeah, I think it was Harold Lloyd. I don't know if we have a silent film fan in the chat. Someone could correct me if I'm thinking of the other guy whose name escapes me now. I know it's not Charlie Chaplin. I'm a huge Chaplin fan. So, what's really funny about the opening is that it's completely silent. The cold open, they don't have any of the music or any sound effects at all until we get into the credits. And this movie was made at the very end. It says this was a true story. Them going through all these foibles of getting a silent film made in 1970s. The first time in 40 years. Mel Brooks had built up some clout at this point.
Right.
Young Frankenstein, he had enough clout to say this movie is going to be black and white. I don't know if you've heard that story. Mel Brooks on the WTF podcast talks about the meeting that he was in and all the fighting that he was doing with the studio to get his way. And he says that they're all in agreement, and he's on his way out the door, and he sticks his head back in. By the way, it's going to be in black and white. Closes the door, and the execs run. No! But he had enough clout to get a black and white movie made in 1974, and he wanted to do the same thing with a silent movie, and that's what this was, a silent movie about making a silent movie.
It was a silent movie about making this movie, because it's, they wanted to get a lot of stars, so they were like, listen, we're just going to make a movie about making a movie. You want to be in it for a couple minutes? But
this had to be just, when he says this is a true story, he needed to get the biggest stars possible for the studio to okay it. He needed Steve McQueen to do a chase on in a wheelchair for this to be made. Like, they weren't able to get a car chase with Steve McQueen, but they got him for a wheelchair chase. And at the end of the wheelchair chase, he's just like, "Yeah, I'll do your movie. I'd like to be in it."
But like in the first 5 minutes when they go to the hospital, Marty Feldman, he's trying to hit on this really hot, big booted, big fucking tits, this nurse, and then she smacks him. He gets back in the car, and Mel Brooks goes to Marty Feldman, and then this comes up.
And what I love is
and
Marty
set
Feldman,
that set the tone for the movie. Like, all right, so this is what this movie's gonna be like.
What I love is Marty Feldman is perving on that nurse for a while. He says a lot of stuff that's just,
and he does that throughout the whole movie.
And they don't let you in on anything, but the fact that she and smacks the hell out of him, you got the point. And the gag of, "You bad boy."
Just that whole thing.
I remember that gag Saturday Night Live. I think with Sean William Scott did a gag like that, where it puts over, "Gee whiz."
Yeah,
That's always a fun gag where you're just blatantly vulgar and like, gosh darn.
Right.
So this clip that I have here, Marcel Marceau, I cut it down a bit. This goes on for a little while.
Yeah, it goes on for a long time.
He's coming into his room with the window open and just struggling against the wind, master mime that he is, trying to answer the phone, but he's struggling with being thrown around by this breeze.
And because he's a mime, a silent actor, they're trying to get him in their silent movie.
Hello, Marcel. How would you like to be in the first silent movie made in 40 years?
No.
The only spoken dialogue in the entire movie by a world-famous mime, a single word. And everyone, for every current star, absolutely would love to be in this movie, but we're doing this style that you're adept at. How would you love to come back? No.
And I want to say that was the only time he ever spoke on film.
It might be. I would not be surprised. I did not do that research. I think that might be accurate as well. That he spoke that one time in all of his film career.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he did interviews and stuff, but on film, that's the only word he ever spoke.
One other scene that I would like to highlight just for a moment is when they get Liza Minnelli and they go to the studio commissary, and for just no reason, they decide they need to be in costume, and they hijack these suits of armor, and then it's an extended scene. Oh, are these seats available with the film costume and the suits of armor?
I have that in my notes. I have that in my notes. Like when they went to the commissary, obviously it's the commissary. There's extras there. We're doing this. I want to know if they told the extras what was going to happen, because with what I mean, it was almost like Jackass, like how they did that scene with the suits of armor and sitting down and just breaking everything and falling all over. If you look at the people eating, they're looking like, what the fuck? I do not believe that those extras were told what was going to happen in that scene. They were, it's just a commissary scene. Just pretend like you're eating.
Oh, actually, speaking of extras, from the producers, when they had everyone just open mouth gawking, that's something that you usually don't want in movies, but it worked very well with the producers and Springtime for Hitler before they're won over by Beatnik Hitler. The suits of armor go on even longer than the wind scene here with Marcel Marceau. It is so long of silly physical comedy of not being able to simply sit down on a chair in these suits of armor, and for the payoff when Liza Minnelli, wait a minute, Mel Fun? I would love to be in your movie. I would love to be in your movie. Absolutely 100% unnecessary to go through that ruse of disguising themselves, because just everyone who they approach. I think Anne Bancroft didn't want to be a part of it until they had their little sing and dance number, and the bad guys eat and devour, envelop and devour, something along those lines. Engulf and devour. They're trying to take the studio over, making it part of their big conglomerate, and they hire Madeline Kahn to seduce Mel Brooks, but she ends up falling in love with him. Oh, that's actually a funny gag.
No, it's Bernadette Peters. Bernadette Peters, right?
Oh, it was Bernadette.
Yeah,
my mistake. It was Bernadette. Yeah, another. You can see why I got them confused. Any fan of them, they are similar ladies, Bernadette and Madeline Kahn. I was thinking Madeline Kahn looks different because it was Bernadette. Duh.
And another. I mean, this movie. I mean, the plot is they're trying to get actors to make a silent movie, but the thing with this movie is just all the gags. Like another one I wrote down was the blind guy and the dog gag.
Yeah,
there's a blind guy with the seeing eye dog, and then there's a guy with the dog, and the dogs look identical. And I can't remember how it.
Marty Feldman is holding them. They're going to the bathroom.
Marty Feldman's
hold my dog, please.
Hold my dog. And then he gives the blind guy the regular dog, and the seeing guy the seeing eye dog. And I was going, oh god, the blind guy with the regular dogs is going to go nuts. No, the first gag was with the regular seeing guy with the seeing eye dog that stopped at a stoplight, and he was like, "What the? Come on, let's go, dog!" But
Yeah, does
Like
a little
that,
pratfall for the
yeah, but
what the hell, dog?
yeah,
Come
like,
on.
but that vision, like, I didn't expect that. Like, oh wow, he's doing both. He's doing both dogs. Like that was a genius gag. I thought that was hilarious.
Coming up for a gag for each, and it seemed he came up with a gag that didn't fit anywhere, so they just made it part of the screening where we
Yeah.
have this line, 3 lines of soldiers that are shooting. First line shoots, and then they stay where they are. Second line of soldiers shoots the first line, and then it happens again.
Well, no, they kneel down, and they kneel down, and when they're done, they stand up. And then the row behind them kneels down and shoots, and they stand up, and then
One of the gags I also loved, one of the visual gags of when Marty Feldman and Dom DeLuise discover that Bernadette Peters is indeed working for Engulf and Devour. They found the check, and in the memo for all this money for pretending to fall in love with Mel Fun. I love the explicit memo. But then he goes on this big bender. Actually, that's funny. They have the in the black void with the neon signs checking the bars, and then the last one, gay bar, gay bar, gay bar, gay bar.
Yeah, silent movie.
Rule of threes. I was actually disappointed. I imagined that they filmed it, but then cut it out. There's twice that that Mel Fun and Dom DeLuise, Marty Feldman are just absolutely hugging each other and like, yay, we're gonna get it made. And 2 women walk by.
Facts.
When they brought that back for a second time with James Caan and his trailer that's off balance because it needs to be repaired.
It's a shitty trailer.
Yeah, going back to like a boat gag on the sea, but it's just a trailer that's malfunctioning, and they all fall to one side.
Dom DeLuise have to sit on one end, and all 3 of them have to sit on the other to balance it out.
And they did that twice. When I saw, this is a running, I really wanted to see that come back a third time. I imagine that the rule of threes applied, but this and almost all of Mel Brooks' movies are a tight 90 minutes. As I mentioned with High Anxiety, I think it could have been tighter to make it a better movie, get it closer to 80 minutes. But he doesn't fuck around of sticking around for too long. I think that Young Frankenstein is the only one that isn't right at 90 minutes. That's at an hour 45. And it does make sense with the genre to get a little longer. But a nice in and out, a 90-minute movie with a bunch of gags for silent movie. Before we move on to number 6, any final thoughts on the silent movie by Mel Brooks?
No, I just wanted to say, like, with the I did say was first Jackass. Yeah, I'm just looking at my notes here. No, that was it. I really enjoyed silent movie. If you are a Mel Brooks fan, if you like Mel Brooks movies, you will absolutely enjoy silent movie. If you're not that much of a Mel Brooks fan, you'll appreciate it and you'll find it funny. But if you're a Mel Brooks fan, you will absolutely get a kick out of silent movie.
An old Hollywood fan, a Mel Brooks fan. The modern eye, it might be hit or miss. It could be hit or miss if you're not an old Hollywood fan or a Mel Brooks fan. But people with an appreciation for filmmaking or Mel Brooks, he does create a silly world. So I'm curious, someone who just likes silly things, if they would be able to enjoy this one, because I can see that it might not be for everybody. But you and I think we talked a lot longer about silent movie than we were expecting, because we did indeed enjoy it and have a lot to say about it.
No, it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. This would be a good movie to do. First reaction to someone who's familiar with Mel Brooks but not a Mel Brooks fan, and then someone who has no idea. I believe this would be a cool movie to do like a first reaction.
Yes, someone sort of initiated and someone not initiated at all. Modern film fan. That would be a fun experiment, because as you mentioned, that I am curious. You and I love this movie. We didn't put it in the top tier, but it absolutely belongs in the top 9 movies of Mel Brooks.
For sure.
Number 6 best movie of Mel Brooks. I put
All
Robin
right.
Hood, Men in Tights in this position.
I would have put this below Silent Movie. While I liked this movie, it was with Spaceballs and then Men in Tights, like those movies, like Men in Tights especially. I felt Men in Tights, while funny, it was Mel Brooks saying, "Hey, I'm still around."
Yeah, I did have. I'll absolutely agree with that. That I was. These two, I was very close. And as much as we did just gush over Silent Movie, I think I would have to agree that we just did number 6, and this is number 7. Because going back and watching this, I didn't enjoy it as much as I remember. I believe this was my very first Mel Brooks movie. I think my dad ordered this off of Prestige Vision pay-per-view, viewer's choice, and we recorded it on a VHS tape. And I just thought this was a very fun movie. Going back at it, it takes a while to get going. It's about 30-40 minutes before we really get into the fun scenes. This one, that the clip that I pulled of his introduction to Little John, this one is kind of like the buffer point, as they have a lot of world building. They have a lot of characters to introduce, so they have a lot of fun gags as they get into introducing Blinken. They introduce Blinken the blind man. He's reading Braille porn. That's a fun gag I enjoyed.
I like the fact that they spoofed the Errol Flynn movie with characters of the Kevin Costner movie. I thought that was a cool dichotomy. I thought that cool dichotomy there. They made the one movie, and then this is a direct scene from both Errol Flynn and Kevin Costner movies with Little John.
This was kind of a response to the Kevin Costner movie. That one got a lot of flack. The direct jab that Carrie Elways takes, unlike some Robin Hoods, I have an English accent.
Yeah.
And this was my introduction to Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, this was my first
introduction to Dave Chappelle. This was the world introduction to Dave Chappelle.
There's actually a gag with his character of Achu, a running gag. Oh, bless you. No, that's my name, man. But
with his dad, a sneeze.
A sneeze. I am a sneeze. Father of Achu. He is headstrong and cocksure. Or is it the other way around? With Isaac Hayes making a quick, almost a cameo. He wasn't in the movie for long. He's just in the prison. He and Robin break out, and then Robin swims all the way from Jerusalem to England, all those hundreds of miles, and shows up on the shore, kisses the ground. Fun little gag of after kissing the sand. You just get sand. There's sand in your mouth.
And I like that Gary Yules used his Robin Hood was absolutely the Errol Flynn with the smiling every time he was fighting, like.
And Carrie Elways, actually a proper choice for multiple reasons. He had done some sword fighting in The Princess Bride, so he was already accustomed to doing some sword fighting on film, taking up this role, and having some battles with the Sheriff of Rottingham.
Rottingham, yes.
This scene here, as I mentioned, is the kind of buffer as we're starting to pick up. Once we get to the next scene, the movie really starts moving along. But yeah, slow character building, and it makes sense. There's a lot of characters in this movie. So the first 30 minutes is just introducing a lot of them. Once again, the camera gag of Maid Marian singing her introduction, her singing in the tub, introducing her chastity belt. And the camera zooming in and breaking the window for that. That's a fun gag Mel Brooks reused, and I approve of that reusal of the gag in a little different fashion. So here is Little John. He wants a toll from Robin of Locksley, but Robin of Locksley is battling him for the right to cross this massive body of water. And their bows just broke once in battle. funny fight choreography, going for the feet. And it just keeps happening.
Yeah.
So we've got to change up our fighting style.
Right. This is my favorite part. My brother, I use my brother all the time. All the time.
And I did cut this part a little short, so YouTube wouldn't flag me. They've been a bit flag happy, but yeah, once we get to this part, then they're just smacking each other's hands.
Fingers.
Once again, varying up the fighting style because it keeps breaking, and this is the last variation of this fighting style.
This part's so fun. This part's so good.
And then, of course, he becomes one of the merry men. It actually kind of reminiscent of Blazing Saddles, which we will, of course, be getting to. In that everybody that starts out adversarial, join the party, become one of the merry men.
Yeah, right.
And we don't have Friar Tuck. We have Mel Brooks in a smaller role as Rabbi Tuckman.
Rabbi Tuckman. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Rabbi Tuckman, and I do believe that small role. I believe Spaceballs. This was '93, and Spaceballs was 1987. And Mel Brooks had a larger role in Spaceballs as President Scroob, but the kind of extended cameo I felt was the proper point at this time in Mel Brooks's career.
Yeah,
to just get in there, have a little fun, and then get out.
Right.
Yeah, I guess we have less to say about this one. Once again, showing you were right. We had so much to say about silent movie. So yeah, on the fly, knocking this down to number 7, putting silent movie up to number 6. A fun movie, but yeah, not as quick moving, not as memorable or quotable as a lot of the other Mel Brooks movies.
Right.
And we did have the godfather of The Simpsons, Tracy Ullman, godmother of The Simpsons, Tracy Ullman. I didn't know the joke of her name, Latrine, as when I saw this as a 7-8-year-old. So when she says, "You changed it to Latrine," used to be shithouse until the 9th century. Right, I didn't understand that gag at the time. That
see, I was a senior in high school in '93, so yeah, I absolutely got that joke.
Yeah, I hadn't been introduced to the word latrine at that young age yet, so I don't get it. Mel Brooks does have fun with Rottingham. Oh, actually, I love the one that stuck with me at that age was meeting the sheriff of Rottingham, cutting him down from his horse, so he's hanging upside down.
Yeah,
and I am getting pissed off. That's close to a horse's wiener. I'd be scared of getting pissed on. Oh, and that was Achu. I got away from the visual gag that I actually never noticed. His hat is backwards. It's got like the modern hat. Nope, this one doesn't have it.
No
but like
way.
The settings.
His turban is backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards, and like a modern hat where you set the size. That's his hat. Somehow we both missed that.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That's pretty funny.
Yes, since you missed that, I might have to bring that up right now at you, Men in Tights, because just a small little visual gag. It's there the entire time that he's on screen. And can I share this tab instead? Can you see this picture well here?
Not yet.
Oh no, you can't see the picture because I'm not sharing the tab there. Should be able to see it in a moment here. Share that tab and bring it up over here. Let's share this tab instead. It's there the entire movie. He's wearing his hat backwards.
Oh my god, I can't believe I never noticed that.
It's in our face. He's wearing a proper hat the first time or kind of like a turban the first time we meet him, and then every other time he's wearing it's in the style of everyone else's hat, but they don't have like that size set like his does for a modern hat. Actually, this movie gets in that early 90s hip hop. It starts and ends with a rap, giving us an introduction to what's going on, and then an outro of "See You in Robin Hood 2." But as you said, Robin Hood 1 at this point in Mel Brooks' career was good enough. These movies are so heavy with gags that even one right in front of our face for a good portion of the movie.
Shit, 30 years.
And now
20
you know.
years, right? No, 30. Fuck.
Yeah, the 90s are going on 30 years ago.
Fuck.
Yeah, 2024. Yeah, 31 years ago. We that gag has been staring at us in the face,
right.
And we missed it. So that was Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Any final words on this decent but not great? And as I said, after the discussion we had, knock this down a peg and bring Silent Movie up a peg. Absolutely, 100% agree with that. As you said that on this reveal, in the number 5 position, I put this like right there on the border of the top tier greatest movies. Like instead of A+ tier, A tier. After this, we are on A tier for the rest. I would put this just slightly below the rest. History of the World Part 1, one that you wanted to cover. It's fresher in your mind. I watched it a few months back.
This is a favorite movie of my brother and I. Like we can recite this movie. I mean, I did watch it again before, for my homework here, but it's just so funny with everything going from, our ancestors, the cavemen, even the bits with the cavemen when they
stand up and first thing they do is jerk off.
And then at the very bottom, our forefathers, and Orson Welles being the narrator. It's the need to create in man, the need to create, and of course, with the advent of the artist comes the inevitable critic. So then he's painting this cave wall with this, and this guy comes up and he's looking at it, and then he just pisses on
it. And the introduction of singing. It's a rock falling on a guy's foot. That's the introduction of singing to the human culture. But they hadn't figured out how to do that without hurting them. So the chorus is a 2-man job of one person hitting the person's feet and the other one. Ah!
And then the best section of History of the World Part 1 was the Roman Empire. It was that whole, just the whole thing where they're going through the cities of Rome and the guy's got plumbing. Get your plumbing here. It's astounding. It's amazing. It moves water from one place to another. Pipe the shit right out of your house.
I love
plumbing.
I love Mel Brooks going to the unemployment office, and we've got Maud there. We got B. Arthur. What do you do? I'm a comedian. Oh, you're a bullshitter.
No, stand-up philosopher. Stand-up philosopher.
That's right.
The setup to that was, I'm a gladiator. Did you kill this week? No. Did you try to kill this week? Yeah. All right. Well, this is your last week of employment. We need to change your status.
Yeah, that's right. That setup does help when you're a bullshitter. Did you bullshit this week? Did you try to bullshit this week? Before we get to the Roman Empire, one of my favorite gags was getting to biblical times with the Lord Jehovah sending down these 15 smash
10
commandments.
The first time I saw that, I was a young kid, 6 or 7. I laughed so hard, and my parents were like, oh, how do you know that's funny? Like, because there's only 10 commandments.
Yeah, as that dropped, I was trying to do it in my head of what could those other 5 that were just smashed on the ground, what could they have been?
And the best part is when he's holding them and he goes, I bring you these 15, and it falls and he goes, oi, 10. Ten Commandments.
Yeah, the repeating of the word 10. Like he's reassuring himself and everybody. 10 commandments.
10 commandments for all to obey. But then the Julius Caesar, Dom DeLuise's Julius Caesar, that whole bit where he's Marcus Aurelius comes in, he's like, "We bring you this hand-carved alabaster bathing vessel," and he's sitting there going, "Bathtub, nice. It's not thrilling, but nice. Ah," and then he goes, "but to fill the bathtub, we bring you treasure from the Orient," and it's these hot chicks with all these treasure. Bathtub? I'm going to have a treasure bath? I'm going to have a treasure bath! to this day, my little brother and I, like, that's Christmas, birthdays, no matter what it is, if it's a gift, it's always nice. Not thrilling, but nice. Like, no matter what it is, for like, and we will probably do that till we're old and gray. But yeah, it's nice. It's not thrilling, but nice.
I think of Madeline Kahn. She doesn't get a big production number in this one, but she does get to sing as she's picking who gets to participate in the orgy. No, yes. No, yes.
Yeah. Well, set it up like there's the annual orgy, first serve, first come. There's a big sign, and then she's got to get her escort for the orgy. So it's a bunch of soldiers coming in with no pants. So they're all lined up, and they all got their armor on, but they have no pants. So she's going down the line looking, yes, no, yes. And then at the very end, oh my God, wait a minute, yes. and then, all right, let him out. All right, quick time Harch. I love quick time Harch.
And I mentioned that Madeline Kahn didn't get the big production number in this one. Mel Brooks did have a lot of fun with his singing. And oh yeah, we missed that in Robin Hood Men in Tights. The singing was Robin Hood serenading Maid Marian.
Yeah.
And then all the men in tights, he doesn't realize everyone's watching, but they add to the chorus. Ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like every movie. Spaceballs doesn't have a big singing number. I believe that's the one outlier that we have in his movies here.
Maybe.
We'll see as we get to the rest of them. But here is Mel Brooks just having a fun jaunt. In the Inquisition. Just a terrible, dreadful time.
The Inquisition.
Let's hear it from him.
Inquisition. Let's begin the Inquisition. Look out, see. We have a mission to convert the Jews. We're going to teach them wrong from right. We're going to help them see the light and make an offer that they can't refuse. That the Jews just can't refuse. Confess. Don't be boring.
Don't be boring.
Say yes.
This one is from YouTube, from a guy called.
Oh, hold on. Here, this is how I get. This is how I get. Yeah. Yeah. About an hour.
I'm just going to put him on a mute as he lets a lady know what's going on there. But yeah, we have a nice musical number from Mel Brooks, and not trying to get a strike, so I'm not playing too much. All right, looks like you're done your conversation there.
Yeah. Hold on, here she comes again.
Okay, I'll ramble on about the musical number a little more because. Yeah, James Gunn does a great job of this. When James Gunn picks music for his movies, he'll just have a very fun, upbeat tune during the darkest of times, and that's what Mel Brooks. This is his big production number.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would like to play some more of that song, but with YouTube being trigger happy on me last time, I'm just trying to stick around to about 30 seconds on these clips.
I'm going through the pickings with Jackie Mason.
I actually did get
chickens.
I actually did get some parts of this confused with Life of Brian as I was trying to take down some of my notes. There were some gags from Life of Brian. I was like, oh, that wasn't this at all. So a little nod to Holy Grail, I think everyone's seen, but Life of Brian, it gets off the rails with the aliens.
Another one out of the building.
Another recommendation for people who like these types of movies. What's fun at the big finale of this movie is I believe we spend most of the time in the Roman Empire. I think that's like this is kind of an anthology, kind of a series of sketches as we go from time period to time period. And we have, I should have pulled the picture. Some of my 8x10s on the wall. I have one but we have our buddy with the chariot when everyone's in trouble. There in the final segment, you made it. What took you so long? Like they're not supposed to be the same people, but we've established it. What was it? The French Revolution, I think it was.
He comes up with miracle. Yeah,
that we bring back.
Don't forget when the Romans are chasing them on the chariot as they're escaping. Gregory Hines, you know, he's sniffing around, goes, pull over, and he's like, what? And then he's going through all these plants, like he's picking weeds, and then it's a pot plant. He goes, rolling red. He's like, rolling papyrus. I need a rolling papyrus.
And that's how he's able to distract the Roman army. Just get that giant rolled papyrus joint.
We are now armed with mighty joint.
And that huge cloud of smoke just gets them high and confused, and they stop chasing them. And I was having trouble pulling Gregory Hines' name. Well, the actor name at least. And yeah, Gregory Hines in the final segment saves the day by coming. I think that's the only time the different segments intersect, and completely different characters. But these actors were buddies as different characters in that last sketch, so fucking roll with it.
Right. Josephus, what's up, baby? Let's go. Well, I mean, let's go on with this with the French Revolution again. Talking about Cloris Leachman, who got uglied up. You know, it's all about the French Revolution, obviously, and the peasants going against King Louis. And Mel Brooks plays a dual role in this part. He's King Louis, and he's the piss boy. And the piss boy is he just carries a bucket. And when you piss boy, and then oh my God, there's so much about the French Revolution too. Harvey Korman and Count de Mornay, and when he's, you have any more of those raisins left? These are mine. You've ate all yours. Oh no! I paid for them, so they're mine.
The one that sticks with me from the French Revolution is the human chess set they have on the lawn. Pawn, jump queen. Rook, jump queen. Knight, jump queen. Gang bang.
Oh, then he ran out to the pawns of the midget. Whip those little dicks out.
Because the pawns would have the little dicks.
Right. Oh my God, there's so much of that. Yeah, no, there's they invent the catapult in with their well, the part of the French Revolution is there's this woman wants to save her father who's in prison, and the king goes, well, you know, if you want to save him, you know, he's sentenced to death, so hump or death, you know, either hump me or your father gets it. And then she's okay. So so they go to her father in the you know, in the prison, you know, they let him out, they're getting out, and then he's getting his birds. He's like, oh, we're free. So he goes in his cage and gets his birds, and they're all dead. And he's just putting them out the window. He goes, fly, and they just drop, be free. And then the cat, because the cat ate him, and he's like, oh, kitty. He's like, I'm going to invent the catapult. And he just goes like this and throws the cat.
I forgot about that catapult.
But the fly be free. Fly! Be free!
Very fun movie.
Really fun movie.
Unorthodox for its kind of sketch comedy type. But yeah, we do stick in the Roman Empire and the French Revolution for quite a while to get a little longer storytelling. And the fucking ending of Gregory Hines just rolling up at the French Revolution with the chariot is an earned fucking ending. There's some fucking endings that aren't earned. I felt that was an earned fucking ending.
That was totally earned. That was earned.
And as I mentioned, that is getting into the A tier. Any final thoughts as we get into the 4 movies in the A+ tier?
No, I mean, I would absolutely recommend you see History of the World Part 1. Great movie.
Yeah, fantastic. Judging by the trailers, I'm afraid to check out History of the World Part 2, especially because I think highly of one of the producers involved in it. I am very afraid, based on what those trailers look like, to dive into Part 2. But Part 1, phenomenal movie, A tier. I would put this alone on the A tier. I would say from the B tier, the movies before this, the A tier for this, and the A+ tier. All of these can be argued in a different position. These are all
correct, yeah.
A+, his top fantastic work. And Young Frankenstein was actually the second movie he released in 1974. We will get to the first one that was released at the beginning of 1974 and absolutely must have been shot in 73. But in December 1974, Mel Brooks got enough leeway to release a movie in black and white. The studio, he sprung this on the studio that it was going to be on black and white. And he had enough clout to do this, and this gave him even more clout in order to do silent movie just a few years later, getting experimental with archaic styles, and the cinematography is fantastic.
It is.
Putting this in black and white indeed makes this feel like it was made in the 1940s.
It really does. It's he nailed it. He nailed it with this, with the whole, with the genre. It's the whole movie. And even like even the gags in this, like it's just, you're taking it seriously, and then the police sergeant with the hand that he's got to do, like, they
use him as the battering ram at the end.
Yeah.
It's well established.
Yes,
this prosthetic hand by the point, and everyone's holding him using that hand as the battering ram. The introduction of him when he first meets Frederick Frankenstein. Well, at that point, he is decided to embrace his Frankenstein name.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder absolutely, when we're introduced, absolutely hates that he is related to that kook, his grandfather, Victor Frankenstein. No, I am Frankenstein.
It's Frankenstein.
He's so passionate about it, he stabs himself in the leg as he's talking. Oh, shit. His reaction. Gene Wilder, I keep saying he as Frederick Frankenstein. Gene Wilder, a great choice. He went on to direct some movies himself. This one he was very creatively involved with. He got a writing credit. I believe he might be a producer as well. I don't know if you've seen Gene Wilder's movies. Sherlock Holmes, Smarter Brother, Haunted Honeymoon.
Yeah.
I didn't like them.
He was a better actor. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes, Smarter Older Brother, and Haunted Honeymoon. Yeah, those were.
I found Sherlock Holmes is. I had a friend who turned into just an uber hipster. I mean, look at me. I'm a hipster, but he's on a level that's sneaky even to me, and just very pretentious type. And I was like, oh, no wonder this guy is absolutely in love with Sherlock's older brother. This is a pretentious movie. It's Gene Wilder uses the same players as Mel Brooks does. We get Marty Feldman, we get Dom DeLuise, Gilda Radner, he met on set and married her. All fantastic, but head coach Gene Wilder, you're not in the B tier. You're below the B tier that we had with the producers and High Anxiety and such with the Gene Wilder. But yeah, absolutely on fire as an actor. He is so over the top once he starts going mad, and absolutely adoring being a Frankenstein. The clip I have here is Terry Garr. By the way, I have never seen her look as sexy.
Thank you, Doctor.
What knockers is a fun gag. We're introduced to her with the roll in the hay. Would you like to take a roll in the hay? She just literally means, while we're in the back of this cart going home, roll in the hay. I have never seen Terry Garr look this sexy before.
She's hot as fuck in this movie. She's super hot.
Madeline Kahn, who I had a super crush on for, probably still. I shouldn't say do. She was so attractive, and he brought her in many times to be the sexy lady. Did Mel Brooks, and she was the fiance. She was the bitch fiance in this movie. Madeline Kahn.
Yes.
And Terry Garr absolutely knocks it out of the park as the German lady who is there to be the eye candy. This is this clip is them stumbling upon.
Put the candle back.
At this point, they hear some music coming from somewhere, and they realize Gene Wilder knows immediately that there is a secret library. Fabluha. One little gag there. Every time you say Fabluha's name, Horace Leachman uglied up again. Horace is Winnie, and
I think that's the German word for horse, like her name.
I actually have never looked that up.
Yeah, I think that's the gag. Like that's because like her name is the German word for horse. She's like Frau is I'm
Horse.
Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure her name is the German word for horse.
And then Igor giving it a test after, because they all can hear the horses and they look around. Where are these horses coming from? He gives it a test and says it backwards, and still the horses.
That's right.
So we've got Frau Blua, who wants Frederick to become Frederick Frankenstein and embrace his roots. She was the lover of Victor Frankenstein, and she's leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. She's playing the violin in the song that appeases the monster once we get to it, and they're able to discover the secret lair, the secret laboratory of Victor von Frankenstein. He was looking for the book. Like he just went through one of these books. I'll figure it out if you just hand me this candle.
The candle.
And then we get this fun gag.
Put the candle back.
But a little misdirection.
I think I have it figured out now. Take out the candle, and I'll block the bookcase with my body.
Decent plan. Or maybe not. Listen to me very carefully. Don't put the candle back. And then, we get a reversal where Terry Garr is taken to the other side of the wall. Put the candle back. Marty Feldman in a the perfect choice for Igor, rather. Frankenstein. Then you're Igor. No, it's Igor.
It's pronounced Igor. So.
And the moving of his hump is something that Mel Brooks didn't realize for a bit.
Well, no, that's the gag. What hump?
I could help you out with that.
Yeah, I could help you out with that hump. What hump?
And it moves around from one side to the other. That's something Marty Feldman did and didn't tell Mel Brooks. And then one day on filming, when he realized it, it's like, well, we've got to realize it. And they've already established, and by that point, what hump. Wasn't that... Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. I love Marty Feldman. He's fucking hilarious.
And Men in Tights actually has a callback. It's got a few callbacks to earlier Mel Brooks movies with the moving mole of King John that they do a little nod to Igor's moving hump. And eventually the monster, everyone the monster encounters, they set it up just like the original Frankenstein of throwing the little girl down the well. But instead of throwing the little girl down the well, he actually looks at the camera when she's dropping the petals, and we drop the petals down. What should we put down the well now? And Peter Boyle, fantastic deadpan, looking at the camera. What should we put in the well? And anyone who's seen the original Frankenstein knows the little girl goes in the well. I think it's the river, actually, from the original. But he drowns the little girl, the monster does. Where in this one, she's getting demanding of the monster. She's getting indignant with the monster. Get on the other side of the seesaw. And the parents are flipping out. They know the monster is on the loose. Where's Helga? I thought you put her to bed. I thought you put her to bed. And the monster catapults her just right into her bed safely, getting on the seesaw.
Some of those gags are so stupid, but they're fucking hilarious.
Simple physical humor, throwbacks to the slapstick and stuff. The blind man, Gene Hackman, is another one where it's the blind man who ends up terrorizing the monster by trying to serve him some soup and pouring the scalding hot liquid directly into his lap. And he's able to get him to calm down of the fire for a little bit. To light a cigar. No, it's fine. Let's have this cigar, and lights his thumb on fire. The monster causes no terror. Every setup for him to murder someone or cause terror, just an absolute misdirect of him just bumbling around somewhere with the Abby normal brain. It was supposed to be Hans Delbruck, but Jumpy Igor accidentally breaks Saint, Genius and Saint, I think it says, and gets the whose brain did you get, Igor? Abby something. Abby normal.
Just imagine that. If you were a fucking, if your mad scientist boss told you to get this exact brain for this monster you're making, and then you break it.
He's scared by his reflection. There's some lightning. He looks into the mirror, sees his reflection, blah! And Hans Delbruck's brain is on the ground. He needs a brain. We don't see how the other ones are labeled. All we see is that Hans Delbruck's brain is now ruined on the floor. So he gets the next one he sees. There's a couple other brains. We don't know what they are, but he gets the abnormal brain to put in this giant monster who
just the thought of you fucking that up. Just like, what would you do in that situation?
You've got a few other brains to choose from, and just the first one he saw was the abnormal brain. I need a brain.
The absolute wrongest brain.
But this abnormal brain, it can fuck.
Yeah, right.
Once we get Madeline Kahn, who the monster abducts, and she is very quickly seduced. At first, she's afraid, but she starts being attracted to this big brute very quickly, and he fucks her good. He wins her over, and the final scene we have with Madeline Kahn and the monster. She's got the Bride of Frankenstein do her hair. She's scared with a white streak in it initially with the monster, before very quickly being like, you know what, I do like football players. Fuck this scientist. And by that point, Gene Wilder and Terry Garr had already fucked. They were on the platform when Frau Blücher goes looking for them in the laboratory. It's she's coming on strong. If only there was something I could do to make you feel better. And then they come down with a sheet on. They've been fucking on the roof on this platform, and so they end up together. And once again, the monster can fuck.
Yeah,
the monster is accepted by society when
that's
Gene
because
Wilder
they do like a brain transfer. They were like, you know, they give the monster some of Gene Wilder's smarts so that he's cool, but then Gene Wilder gets some of the monstrousness. And
yes, as like that's what she questions. You know, you gave that monster some of your brain, so he could be a good person. But what did you get from him? And then it ends soon after that as the monster portion of the brain fucks Terry Garr better than Gene Wilder could.
Gene Wilder did.
So as abnormal of a monster as he is, not violent, not purposely. Well, I guess he was. That was the first thing he did. Actually, another fun gag. Be sure to have the sedative ready, and then being throttled by the monster doing charades. Sounds like head. Sounds like head. It's head.
Sedative. What is he
give. Give.
Sedative.
Give. Oh, sedative.
Sedative.
Once again, I saw this when I was quite young. So for a while, it was just stuck in my mind that it was sedative when I was trying to find the word of sedative. And just, once again, jam-packed with gags. When they initially dig up the body, they go grave robbing. They almost get caught by a police officer after dropping the grave on the ground and the arms sticking out. So we get some fun physical comedy with Gene Wilder pretending this is his other arm, and he's got to do some stomps to let Igor know that we're shaking hands now. I need to do a salute now.
I have to rewatch that again.
And this one is, as I mentioned, an hour 45. I do wish that they would have got it closer to 90 minutes. The big finale of the song and dance of Putting on the Ritz, the duet with Gene Wilder. If you fuck, I can't remember the lyrics. Look at me being John Melinda here, not remembering the simple lyrics to set up.
And if you want to go, son of a bitch, I can't think of it either.
We know the
there we go.
We've kind of got it, but we definitely know Gary Cooper and Duper. And that big song and dance comes about 90 minutes into the movie, and then the monster flips out again before we get the big resolution. I do wish, even though it's A plus, to make this his number one movie rather than his number 4, in my opinion, that would have been closer to the very end. That song and dance, but still A plus tier, even with just small little criticisms that I have with it, like that of the Putting on the Ritz coming at 90 minutes, and then we still have 15 minutes left. I was ready to get on out of there after Putting on the Ritz, but there was more storytelling to be done. After that. And yeah, very, very well done in the storytelling on this one. We have gushed over this one for a little bit. Any more thoughts before we move on to number 3?
I think we said enough. Go see it. Great movie.
Anyone who doesn't, there are some people who don't like black and white movies, period. This is a movie that even I don't understand that distaste for black and white movies, but this one, people who have a distaste for black and white movies, this one is the one.
Yeah,
I would like to put over my Charlie Chaplin movies. I would like to put over the Charlie Chaplin movies to people who aren't a fan of the genre, but those are just heavy of the genre, where this one has a nice mix of old school and modern for 1974, which still works for 2024. At number 3, I put Spaceballs. This movie I had so much fun watching for the first time. It's one of the movies I didn't want to end. When I Mel Brooks at one point is running through the ungodly long ship. That's the first gag we get. It is like from the original Star Wars: A New Hope, where we see the big ship chasing the rebels. We get this ridiculously. It must be a huge model that just keeps going for like a minute or 2 minutes of this long ship. And towards the end of the movie, Mel Brooks as President Scrooge runs up to the control room. If I walked, the movie would be over. And, and as we get to the further into the movie, of the big finale of them having to get out of there in an emergency in the escape pods, I'm like, oh no, it's ending. This movie comes in hot. It ends hot, and in the middle, when it's when the tone isn't just moving very fast, it's jam packed with gags. Like they do a satire of all the Star Wars. For our younger viewers, is really what kicked off the toy movement, the merchandise movement, to another level in movies. So that was a big part of the satire in Spaceballs. Like when there's just
the merchandising.
Just nothing really happening. We've got Spaceballs the toilet paper, or Spaceballs the shaving cream there to give you a little smile.
And my favorite, Spaceballs the flamethrower.
The kids love that one.
The kids love that. That's his favorite was the yogurt, the Spaceballs the doll.
Mel Brooks doing 2 roles as President Scrooge and Yogurt, the Yoda stand-in, and taking a little break, doing a little QVC with Spaceballs merchandise, which that was actually part of the agreement that he had with George Lucas, was we will not release merchandise. We're making it a big part of the gag, but okay, we won't release the merchandise along with Spaceballs. And this is an original story. It's not like a straight up parody of Star Wars beat for beat. We have the Spaceballs people, that race of people who are looking to steal the air from neighboring planet Druidia. So he takes elements of Star Wars and works it into an original story instead of just being beat for beat. We do have a Mog, a half dog, half man with John Candy.
I'm my own best friend.
For me, in this rewatch, what put it over the top was Dark Helmet. I found Rick Moranis's bratty child like performance of this Darth Vader parody to be what made this movie from an A tier to an A+ tier to me. And he's just goofy from the first moment we see him. His introduction, he comes in breathing heavily, and then instead of doing the choking gag, he's grabbing his balls with the Schwartz. They use a ring to get this Schwartz power. Yogurt gives Lone Star, our Han Solo, once again, kind of love at first sight. We've got to Princess Vespa instead of
Princess Vespa,
Princess Leia. She's getting married to Prince
Valium.
Prince Valium. I can't believe that name escaped me. I love that gag. Prince Valium.
Jim J. Bullock.
And she's just absolutely not interested in him. And as we know, Jim J. Bullock wouldn't be interested in ladies either.
Yeah, right.
But she runs away from her wedding, and her and Lone Star don't like each other at first. And it's a while after he saves Princess Vespa from the Spaceballs that they actually physically see each other, and immediately, oh, you're hot. Oh, you're hot.
Yeah.
But they still are like, I don't like you. You're a stuck-up princess. You're just a shithead.
You're just a spaceship driver.
Space Winnebago. Fantastic stand-in for the Millennium Falcon was just a Winnebago with some wings thrown on it. It was a good one. And here in this scene, we have Dark Helmet has just captured Princess Vespa. So we believe he is interrogating her quite harshly in this scene.
So, Princess Vespa, at last I have you in my clutches to have my way with you the way I want to. No, please leave me alone. No, you are mine.
Not so fast, Helmet.
Lone Star.
Yes, it's me. I'm here to save my girlfriend. Hi, honey.
Now you are going to die. Oh!
Hey, that's my friend.
Got you too, fat boy.
And as this scene goes along, we get one of the other high-ranking Spaceballs,
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders, of course. General Helmet, what? A fantastic look of fear as he's hiding him playing with his toys. And really, this was a foreshadowing of Darth Millennial that we saw in the Adam Driver portrayal of just a bratty child.
Don't worry, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls.
He's caught him enough times playing with his dolls. You know, that's what he's flipping out about.
No, I didn't see you playing with your dolls, sir.
Just fun
Sir, that's not the radar. That's the coffee machine. That's the Mr. Coffee. Oh, well, yes, I'm getting coffee because I always have coffee when I watch Radar.
And what's funny, they start that Mr. Coffee gag. They've got Mr. Radar next to that. Later in the movie, when they're trying to track down what happened to Princess Vespa and Lone Star, we'll just watch the movie. What do you mean watch the movie? They go to Mr. VHS. Another fun little behind the fourth wall gag. They have a few of those, like when they're having the battle with the lightsaber rings. We have Dark Helmet accidentally slashing a crew member. He did it.
That's right. And then they catch their stunt doubles. These are their stunt doubles.
I absolutely love that one as well. No explanation of how they actually got out. It was just their stunt doubles that did that did that last piece of physical acting, and that's who you captured. Something happened to the lead actors. These are their stunt doubles. Yeah. But I fucking love. Let's just watch the movie. We're still making the movie. What do you mean? Let's watch it. It's the newest. They released the movie before it's finished. And as you see the VHS collection, it's all Mel Brooks.
It's all Mel Brooks movies.
And actually, they have that same gag in Silent Movie. Towards the end of the movie, the big premiere of the Silent Movie, there's a poster for Young Frankenstein there.
Yes, so, that's right.
Shameless promotion for himself, which is a fun gag that is included of the VHS collection being just every single Mel Brooks movie and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite gags in Spaceballs was when they're prepare the chip for ludicrous speed. Then they're going and we passed them, and then but Dark Helmet's like you better strap in, sir. He's like, no, So then he's like going like this, like, stop the ship. And then Colonel Sanders goes,
We need to slow down.
we can't stop. We have to slow down first. Bullshit. And then they stop it, and then he crashes, and he's like, he turns into like, are we stopped? Oh, okay, good. Let's just take a 5-minute break.
His helmet is caved in.
It's all caved in and crashed.
Yeah, smoke him if you got him.
And then he fucking...
I do like that the emergency brake, the emergency stop, never used.
Never used.
Later in the movie, the self-destruct, don't use unless you're really sure. but don't ever come to a complete stop. That's actually the first mention of the circus when like Colonel Sanders, prepare to go to ludicrous speed, as his voice is cracking and he's giving everyone a warning. Right. Close down the mall, cancel the circus. And later, when the ship is self-destructing, we see all the circus performance. I'm the bearded lady. Who are you? One of the freaks? And the bear from the circus gets into the final escape pod, preventing our three main antagonists, President Scroob, Dark Helmet, and Colonel Sanders. They're stuck on the ship, and we get a Planet of the Apes ending. Oh, yeah. Shit. There goes the planet.
Oh, shit. Spaceballs. Oh, there goes the planet.
Very quotable movie. Fun from start to finish. And just so many gags that we haven't even touched on, like the Transformer gag. That's how we get from the Planet of the Apes.
With the Statue of Liberty,
using the Schwartz. The ship turns into a cleaning lady with a vacuum, sucking up all the air from planet Druidia. And using the Schwartz, he's able to get her to go from suck to blow.
Blow. All because he's pulling it with the. That's right.
Any final thoughts before we move on to number 2?
Other than great, a Druish princess.
And funny. I am a fan of Druish princesses.
Funny. She doesn't look Druish. Like that. Funny. She doesn't look Druish.
But after talking to her father, Dick Van Patten was very Druish. Talking about, and if you could get back the space sedan, I got a very good price on it from my brother Morty.
Oh my God!
Goes on about that
I did
space
not even
sedan.
realize that. Oh my God!
Oh yeah, he goes on for quite a while on the great deal he got on this space sedan. If you could bring back the space sedan.
My God! Oh my God! I didn't even realize that. That's amazing.
we could easily talk about this for much longer. Trying to keep this to 2 hours. Seeing if we can keep this to 2 hours. As I said, this might be a 3-hour episode. When I like to keep these to 60 to 90 minutes, but when we expanded this to basically Mel Brooks's entire catalog, I was like, well, this is definitely going to be more than a 60, 90-minute episode. So my pick for number 2, I believe, will be a controversial one with other people. This one, Mel Brooks did not direct. To Be or Not to Be is based on an earlier film, and we get, once again, wacky comedy with Nazis. This is set in 1930s Poland, rather, right before the outbreak of World War II. And we have a theater company that helps save the day and keep the Polish underground active. And this scene I have here, this gag it comes up first. We get a big musical number. We get a few musical numbers in To Be or Not to Be, and it's a theater company, so it does work in with the plot very well. But the opening musical number, Anne Bancroft and Mel Brooks sing entirely in Polish, and this is right after that Polish musical number.
Dziękuję. Jaki wrzaski? Wiesz, jakie wrzaski?
Dziękuję, 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 dziękuję.
Wiesz co? Mam cię w dupie.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of clarity and sanity, the rest of this movie will not be in Polish.
12 Days of Roses, and I get to watch.
I actually think about that in movies. From a young age, I thought about that with the accuracy. And Mel Brooks in Apocalypto went fucking nuts with the concept of, I want it to be in this dead ancient language. This is an American movie for an American audience first. So let's do just a fun little gag up front of speaking in Polish. And then, no, we're not going to do this the whole time to you folks.
Yeah.
Let's turn this. And this movie has stakes. I think Mel Brooks at this point in his career realized that relationships and turning up the stakes where you actually feel and are afraid for your characters wasn't his strong suit. He is fantastic at creating a zany world, but love at first sight is just a reoccurring theme in a lot of his movies. And to be or not to be with the, you don't get feelings of dread. You do feel kind of panicked at times. Not for too long. They turn up the tension, but relieve it within a short amount of time, because this is a silly movie. There's a lot. Mel Brooks is an actor, and everyone hates his Hamlet performance, where to be or not to be comes from. But when he sees an audience member leaving during his performance, they're like, oh, he's actually good tonight. He's actually passionate. No, he's pissed off. He's got some emotion in this Hamlet performance tonight because someone is leaving. And that someone is a big fan of his wife, Ava Bronsky. I meant to look this up. Bronsky used to be motorboating before Wedding Crashers changed it, right? I believe that's what Bronsky is, but we have
Bromsky for sure. Bromsky,
we have the famous Bronsky pair and the Bronsky Theater. This soldier is in love with Ava Bronsky, and 2 nights in a row he leaves during To Be or Not to Be, which gives a great performance rather than usual, and goes and starts getting a romance going with Ava Bronsky, and it's the fact that his higher up doesn't know who Ava Bronsky is. He's supposed to be from Poland, and he doesn't know Ava Bronsky. And he's like, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm meeting with, I'm going on a secret mission. Oh, give me the names of your friends and relatives. They're in the underground. They're in the other ground. So his crush for Anne Bancroft is what makes him realize and get British intelligence to send him on this mission to stop the Axis, the Nazis. And I'm not sure if you watched this one in preparation. Christopher Lloyd's Nazi, he's not bumbling. He's good at his job, but he keeps doing it too well and fucking things up. And
I haven't seen this one in a while.
Everyone does just a fantastic job in this one. Mel Brooks has to be sent on the acting role of a lifetime to impersonate several different people. At one time, the Fuhrer he's impersonating, and he's panicking as he's going into this. I'm an actor. Without lines, I'm nothing. And that actually is a lot of actors. A lot of actors are not really good at improv. Some are fantastic at it, but there are some who can read the words and give you a hell of a performance. And that was Mel Brooks's character, but he ends up saving the day. And Mel Brooks knew that he wanted to do this fun movie with tension in it, but he's not good beyond the zany.
Yeah, no, it seems like this is kind of like a passion project for him, because at the very end, when everyone's escaping, when he's getting all the, and they're part of the show and they're leaving, and then the one lady, like the one old lady at the end is like, she's like getting panicked, and then like, come on, let's go, it's okay.
Oh yes, they are dressed up as clowns. I really love that. I forgot that part, that everyone gets out and escapes through the clown car and gets out of there. And yes, one woman is just absolutely petrified as they're performing for officers of the SS exclusively. And it looks like she is about to foil the entire plan. And we have, I think it might have been the gay character come up, and the gag is throwing a yellow star on him. Jordan, through the gas chamber. And everyone's an SS officer. They're laughing. Ha! You caught that Jewish clown. And it works so well. That tension is there very quickly. Their plans go awry a few times, but they don't linger on when they go awry. Like Mel Brooks pretending to be Zelensky is the officer that he's impersonating, and then they find the body of Zelensky, the Nazi officers, and he's able to play it off with convincing them, no, he's the not me.
It's an underrated movie. I mean, I do remember. I mean, I have seen it a couple times. I haven't seen it recently, but it's an underrated movie. It's not one of his big, huge comedies, but if you want a good movie with a couple laughs and bit of tension, this is a good one. To be or not to be.
It takes his silly style, and he didn't know. We'll get to his middling movies when he didn't know his weaknesses, and he was aware his weaknesses at the director would not be able to do this justice. So heavily involved as a producer and the lead actor. Controversial pick, I know, for me putting this at number 2, but I absolutely adored this movie, and it's in the A+ tier. If you put it below Young Frankenstein, I'll agree with you. But for me personally, it's at number 2. So that was, and getting to number 1, when I talked to you about going over Mel Brooks movies, you said you wanted to do his best and his worst movie, adding those to the mix. And I did not disagree when you said Blazing Saddles was Mel Brooks's best movie. And upon a rewatch, absolutely his best movie. It's so fun. Initially, Richard Pryor was supposed to be the black sheriff. Cleavon Little does a fantastic job.
Correct.
I mentioned Mel Brooks not being the best at actual real relationships, but the bond that forms between Gene Wilder, the Waco Kid, and Bart, the black sheriff, is really nicely done, and it gets across to the audience very well.
Bit of trivia here. So Blazing Saddles was put out by Warner Brothers, right?
Yes.
And Richard Pryor was supposed to be Black Bart, the sheriff.
Warner Brothers was afraid of that. They didn't want. They allowed him to be a writer. More.
Hold on. In one of his stand-up thing, I believe it's Richard Pryor live on the Sunset Strip. He talks about having a pet monkey, and oh no, these monkeys are great. But the thing was, if you were a new person, they would come up and fuck you in the ear and just go. So he says he was having a meeting with somebody at Warner Brothers because he was going to do a movie with them. And then my monkey came up and started fucking him in the ear. I didn't get the movie with Warner Brothers. So
sounds like it might be related to.
I believe it is related. And Richard, go ahead.
I was going to say this would have been another great example of Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor together. They made 4 movies together. They were a great comedy duo. And watching this with Cleavon Little in the role, I was kind of like, man, this could have been the 5th great movie. But Cleavon Little, a fantastic second choice. He knocks us out of the park.
And Richard Pryor wrote the scenes with Mongo. He did not write the Black Bart scenes. He specifically he wrote the Mongo scenes.
The Mongo scenes, it's what attracted him the most. Like, he wasn't put on the assignment with Mongo. That's just and unfortunately, there was several Mongo scenes that didn't make it to the final cut. And this movie, like Mel Brooks's other movies, comes in right at 90 minutes. I am disappointed that this one didn't make it to the final cut. This only would have been 60, 90 seconds. So I'm disappointed.
In the 80s, they used to play Blazing Saddles on TV, but obviously they would edit it, and those cut scenes with Mongo are in that version where he's underwater. He's got like the big diving suit where he's got like the big old timey diving suit. Those scenes are in it, and there's a lot of other cut scenes too where like at the very end where there's no people. and then they build like the wooden things. The governor, Mel Brooks, goes to the town and takes a picture with one of the fake people, and shows their head on a spring. So I mean, there's a bunch of deleted scenes. If you can watch the edited version of Blazing Saddles that they would show on like network TV, you can see all those deleted scenes.
And I do have one. This one seems to have occurred right after the first gag of Candygram for Mongo, and he gives him an exploding box of candy. I wish they would have kept this one in. I believe this one would have came directly after that, as Mongo is going after the sheriff here, and Richard Pryor got very goofy with it. They actually played the Looney Tunes theme as the sheriff is walking away.
Is walking out, yeah.
Because they're like, well, let's just blatantly say, yes, this is a live-action Looney Tunes we're doing with Black Bart and Mongo. And I really wish that they would have put this one in the final cut here.
In this here town, and you're a big fat fairy. Hold it. If you want to draw on me, put a quarter in the machine. Ready? Now draw on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
And this clip by Chattanooga Ben, must be from Chattanooga, Tennessee, I believe is where Chattanooga is. Yes, this does have the buried treasure going down as well. I'm attempting not to get a YouTube strike with those trigger-happy strikers over there. Took me to an airplane gag there. Striker. But we're talking about Blazing Saddles at this moment, not the Zucker Brothers. Zucker Brothers had some fun movies, very much in the vein of Mel Brooks.
For sure.
I definitely want to touch. I'm sure once Mel Brooks came up with the idea of a giant fight breaking out beyond the movie onto the studio lot, like when the town, we have Hedley Lamar with this scheme to take over the town of Rock Ridge.
Well, here
that's where he wants the railroad to go.
Well, see here. Let's start from like the very beginning. They're building a railroad, and then they find quicksand, and they have to so they go out, and then there's a scene where they send 2 N-words to go check it instead of a team of horses. And
a horse? What are you, crazy?
Yeah, right. So then they get the quicksand. 2 workers. There you go. We'll say that, workers.
Yeah, we won't say the. That was one of the things that the studio said, no N-bombs. But Mel Brooks knew he had final cut in this movie, so he wanted it to be as genuine as possible in his zany world, of course.
Yeah.
So,
right. But
he got the N-bombs in there, which I know 2024 won't like, but it absolutely makes the movie better that the sheriff is near. No, concern it, I said the sheriff, Don.
Well, no, so they get, they have to reroute the railroad, and they have to reroute the railroad to this town of Rock Ridge. And so they find out, and then, the gag with Hedley Lamar, I mean, that's with Hedley Lamar. There was an actress named Hedley Lamar, and, they were using the name Hedley, and she sued them to, because of, but they didn't win.
It's funny, that line is actually in the movie.
It's in the movie. This is 1874. We can sue her. So yeah, but so then they need to get rid of the people of this town. Oh, they called her out totally. Yeah. But they need to get rid of the people in the town. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
They knew that she wasn't gonna be happy with the gag, so that they're poking her with this character being named Hedley, and they fucking called her shot. You could sue her, and and he tried to sue him.
But so they got to get rid of these people. They killed the sheriff, innocent women and children blown to bits. So what they do is they get an idea to disgust the people of Rock Ridge, so they leave. They get a black sheriff who is going to so enrage.
But by the way, the hangman from Blazing Saddles is the same hangman they have in Men in Tights doing
Yes.
basically the same bit.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
nod to his earlier movies they do. And they get a few fun gags in with the hangman, where he's got a man in his wheelchair who he's about to hang. And then Headley sticks his head out the window. And this time they've got the noose around both a man and his horse. The man is sitting on the horse, both the man and his horse about to be hung. So they get in a few fun gags with the hangman who, Bart is about to be hanged rather. I heard you were, he was hung. You heard right.
And it was right.
Last minute reprieve from Hedley Lamar of Bart about to be hanged for getting revenge on. They save the cart, that quicksand. Both the cart and the two black guys are in the quicksand, and he gets a lasso, pulls the cart up. Bart is able to slowly get himself out of the quicksand. Yeah, and take a note, send it to the governor. Tell him I said.
Yeah, he picks up a shovel and cracks him on the back of the head.
And that's what gets him the death sentence, is getting revenge for being left out to die. And the black sheriff, the town, yes, absolutely disgusted. The fun gag that he gets to save his life. Everybody in town pulls their gun on him as he's about to whip this out.
Yeah, excuse me while I whip this out.
Oh, and another little fun wordplay as the guy's reading. We present the new sheriff with a laurel and hearty handshake. Just simple fun wordplay. Right. And little small gags give you a smile, even if it isn't a belly laugh. But to get him out of that situation, nobody move or the sheriff gets it.
Right.
Won't somebody save that man?
Lord. He desperate. Do what he say. I actually, in preparation for this, I was watching. That's why I brought up first reaction videos. I watched. There's this channel. I can't remember it. I'm sorry. But they were two African Americans who were watching Blazing Saddles for the first time. In the first 5 minutes, where like where they're on the railroad working, they were mad, but then they got it at the so it was they loved the movie. It was they went on to they were shocked, but then at the very end when they talked about it, they were like, yeah, no, we get it now why they had to put all that shocking stuff at the very beginning so that we were shocked, and then it just kind of trailed down at the end. But
they do a good job of making it lighthearted with the I think this might be Mel Brooks's only R-rated movie for the language. There isn't gore with any of the violence. We do get a horse punched in the face. What a horse actor that was to go down after taking a punch from Mongo. And then later when they build the fake town to the toll, that's actually when we mentioned slowing down the Roman soldiers with a joint to get them all high. We slow the mob down. I love when they're taking applications. It is bad guys from all races and creeds. We get Islam. We get the KKK, which is how Gene Wilder and Bart are able to sneak in and see exactly what's going on. They where we get the fantastic line, "Hey guys, look what I got here. Where the white women at?
Where the white women at?
Get them." And then of course, they attack them and take their robes to be able to infiltrate. There's bikers. They don't have bikes. They just have the handlebars. And we see them later on the horse with the handlebars to their chopper.
But to go on with the so the sheriff, he gets the town behind him and everybody likes him. And so then they send Mongo in to kind of get rid of the sheriff. And Mongo obviously doesn't work. So then where the beast failed, maybe beauty will prevail. So then again, we get Madeline Kahn, who plays Lily von Stupp, and the gag, and she's German. And this gag with Bart and her is so deep. There are so many levels to this fucking gag. First of all, she's German. Okay. And it is we'll get to that in a sec. So she's like, yeah, okay, what's the, she's like, all right, Headley, what's the job? She's like, I need you to seduce the sheriff and, to get him out of here. She's like, he'll be putty in my hands by morning. So, she's obviously a sexy woman. So after the show, she's got her show and, she sends, and
a song and dance. We get the song and dance with
another
Madeline
song
Kahn.
and dance.
I think we mentioned it for every single movie except Spaceballs. That was the one exception with no song and dance.
Yeah. So then he goes back to her dressing room and she's there. He's like, oh, hello, Sheriff. Come on. So.
Oh no, Cupcake has frozen up. Hopefully he will be back with us soon. And hopefully he joins us back in a moment here. I will keep going with what he was into. We have the sheriff being seduced by Lily von Stupp, but Stupp is instead seduced by the sheriff. And we have Headley Lamar sticking his head into the make sure the plan is going right, everything going to plan, and it's going to plan. But then once she zips down his pants and tries to find out if you people are gifted, she finds out it's true. It's true. Very much like she did in the other movie. What was it? Young Frankenstein. Seduced by the brute who can fuck. That is what happens to Lily von Stupp as she is serving breakfast to the black sheriff the following day. And the seduction plan went awry, as did the Mongo plan going awry. And our black sheriff built his posse with all these people who were sent there to take him down. I went further with the scene, talking about how her seduction failed, and it's twoo. It's twoo. She's serving breakfast the next day.
Yeah, and then she's like, no, you can't leave. And he's like, it's okay, baby. What's up? So he being now the multi-level thing is supposedly it's allegedly during World War II, a lot of the German women were enamored with the African American soldiers that would go there. So like that, so with the black guy, he goes in with the German woman, and then at the end of when they're done, he's like, all right, baby, I'm good. And she's like, no, you can't leave. I need you. I love you.
Yeah, he's ready for it to just be a fling. Lily von Stupp is in love. She
right.
And I heard at a Richard Pryor honoring that there was actually one line after Lily von Stupp said, "Oh, it's twoo, it's twoo, it's twoo." The Black Bart had the line. It sounds like you're aware of it.
Baby, you're sitting on my arm.
Oh, was it sitting? I remembered it as sucking. Either she was sitting or sucking on his arm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah, baby, you're sitting on my arm. that was with the Warner Brothers saying, like the campfire scene. That's the one you should have clipped.
I actually really wanted to get that deleted scene because I'm just very disappointed that didn't make it in. Mongo was built up so much. I really wish that they would have that movie would have been A++. It's already on the A+ level. So it's not a perfect movie, but it is a damn good movie. That I wish would be even closer to perfect with the with a little bit more Looney Tunes with Mongo, in my opinion.
But like you were saying, the scene with the with the horse getting punched, there was a bunch of things that the producers did not want to be in the movie. The horse getting punched was not supposed to be in the movie. The campfire scene with the farting around the campfire, that was not supposed to be in the movie. The number of N-words that were dropped, that was not supposed to be in the movie. And the one concession he made was, okay, I'll take that line out of the movie. You're sitting on my arm. Like, I'll take that one out.
That actually reminds me of Casino. They specifically filmed the scene with the guy's head in the vice because, okay, this is our bargaining chip. This is not making it to the final round. That one didn't even get a note by the studio.
Yeah.
And I've heard the Simpsons do the same with the early years when the censors didn't want to let Bart say hell as much, that they would put 14 hells in when they really only wanted like 6, and the studio settled on 10. All right, 3 more hells than we wanted. Nice.
Right.
So
right.
You do play bargaining with the studio like that. And do you know the controversy of the series, Blazing Saddles, the series?
With Louis Gossett Jr.?
Yeah, Mel Brooks was under the impression that he owned Blazing Saddles in 1976 or 75. After 1 year of release, if a television show was not made, it might actually, I think it was multiple seasons. So he's like, all right, the Blazing Saddles show has not aired. Fantastic. I have the rights to Blazing Saddles, but the studio was filming multiple seasons of Blazing Saddles, the TV show, and putting it on a shelf so they could retain the rights to this show. Absolutely no intention to put Blazing Saddles, the TV show, on air. I thought it was just a pilot when I first got the special bonus DVD years ago, and they had the pilot.
I've got that same DVD.
Like, I thought the pilot was just the pilot, but yeah, finding out that no, there was multiple seasons of this that they had no intention of releasing anywhere, just to stick it to the creator, because the creator have the rights to their work. Fuck you.
Yeah.
We paid for it. We want it in perpetuity. I did start to mention the big fight at the end after the phony town is attacked, and they hit the bad guys with dynamite, and horses go up in the air. I love the fake stunt horses that are just thrown into the heavens as they blow up the town, and the camera is pulling back, and it's like, oh, we're just ending on a fun little brawl, and it's implied that the town wins this, but they keep pulling back, and we see the Warner Brothers lot. Seeing the water tower, that's immediately identifiable. We're on the Warner Brothers lot, and then the camera goes over here, and let's see this musical directed by Dom DeLuise, or rather, I believe it was a more effeminate character that Dom DeLuise was playing.
No, he was not effeminate. The actors in the scene were. He was not.
Watch me. Gotta be careful there with the hard gots. Right. We did drop a abbreviated version of that. For some reason, I think that's okay, but the hard gots.
Right. And then when he goes to all of them, okay, do you all understand me? And they go, yes. Sounds like steam escaping.
You brute! And at that point, the townspeople and the Marauders are on the same time, because I work for Mel Brooks. The commissary, and I've been to that commissary. That looked like the Warner Brothers commissary that they made their way through. So they must have, and it has regular hours. There's no way that they went there in the middle of the day, fucking with the lunch of every production on the lot. So they must have filmed that at night, going through the commissary, throwing pies and stuff, breaking into this musical. What a show. And kind of like a Spaceballs ending, it's
a throw out your hands, stick out your tush, hands on your hips, give them a push. Don't be surprised you're doing the French mistake. Voila!
And then it goes even further as people are fleeing out the front gate of Warner Brothers, and me as a background actor, that's not where I parked. I had to go to the lot down Fourth Lawn across the street. I had to enter through a different gate. That was indeed the main gate that people, the important people, get to go through. As an extra, I didn't get to enter through that gate. So Hedley Lamar goes to the premiere of Blazing Saddles. It's similar to the gag that we had of Spaceballs, the movie, on VHS, already out. Blazing Saddles is currently playing, and Hedley Lamarr goes in, and they've got promotional cows in the lobby of the theater playing the premiere of Blazing Saddles.
I never understood that gag. Why the cows were there, but it's for the promotion for the premiere of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They do silly shit like that. So when I saw that, I was like, it's promotional cows for the premiere. Hedley Lamarr.
And the cows are all behind the red, the velvet rope.
Yeah, the red partition rope.
That's hilarious.
Hedley Lamarr takes a seat. He's watching the movie, and it's right at the part that he's currently at. He sees Bart and the Waco Kid arrive on their horses. Oh shit! And tries to escape. Runs.
Hold on, Dillon.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Fun little gag, the breaking of the fourth wall that Mel Brooks likes to do, going into the theater right now, just like Spaceballs. Where are we in the movie? Right now.
Right now.
And Hedley Lamarr enters the theater right now. where he's trying to escape the sheriff and Waco Kid trying to take him down, runs right into him. And once they take him down, falls face first into putting his handprints in the wet cement.
Right.
Fantastic movie all around.
One gag that I noticed in a lot of Mel Brooks movies, he's got a lot of his characters going, shit. Like Frankenstein, when he sticks the fork, shit. And when Comicus is doing his comedy, his stand-up philosophy for Julius Caesar, and then he goes, you got the corruption. It goes from the, they pay this, they pay off, and they pay this, and then the corruption goes all the way up to the emperor. Shit. and then Hedley Lamarr, when they're at the scene, he's eating his popcorn. He sees Bart comes in. He goes, shit.
Hedley. And then as they ride off into the sunset, they hand their horses off to a handler and get in a town car to drive off into the
sunset.
Or be driven off into the sunset, rather. By the driver handing the horses off. Fantastic movie, up and down. Yeah, when you called it his best movie, I was like, I'm almost positive he's right. I'm going to confirm this, and yes, 100% his best movie. I'm rewatching it. The fight spilling out onto the studio lot. That premise just absolutely killed me. I fucking loved that.
Well, especially if you've been there and you've worked there, then I'm sure that's got a someplace someplace special in your heart too.
Yeah, I've been on the Warner Brothers lot as a lowly background actor. BoJack Horseman, it has a lot more layers to it for us folks who have been in the thick of it, who have been in the shit of it of Hollywood. It's fun without it, but. Yeah, there's a few extra little things, and Mel Brooks doesn't go that deep with his fourth wall breaking. His camera's breaking through the window, breaking through the wall, and when he reuses that gag in several different forms, I love it every single time.
Yeah, I like the reused gags, like the shit gag, like that, because I say that shit.
But they didn't become too repetitive. They were used sparsely enough. They weren't in every single one of these top 9 movies.
Yeah, no, but yeah, Blazing Saddles. If you've never seen it, see it. If you've never seen it, fun drinking game would be every time they say the N-word, you'll be hammered by the end of the movie.
So looks like we will be able to get out of here in 2 hours and 30 rather than 3 hours, as we round out this list of top 9 and bottom 1. A couple of mentions of on neither list: Dracula, Dead and Loving It, the last movie that he directed. Yeah, just it's meh. It's kind of there. It's not good. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think that was more of a Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen, Mel Brooks. Hey, look at these two famous guys that are funny. Let's get them together.
And the Zucker brothers, they made a criticism. The Zucker brothers made a criticism of other movies not using Leslie Nielsen to his strengths. And I 100% agree. I think Leslie Nielsen would have been better as Dr. Van Helsing in this movie. Mel Brooks was Dr. Van Helsing, and I felt like it was too much Mel Brooks, honestly, in the Dr. Van Helsing role. I think there could have been more with Peter McNichol as Renfield and Dracula. But if it were Mel Brooks and Peter McNichol rather than, Leslie Nielsen wasn't used to his best here. And it's just kind of there. It's not on the best list. It's not on the worst list. I think you might be frozen, American Cupcake. Oh no. The other movie not on the... All right, you're back. The other movie not on the best or worst list is The 12 Chairs. And I mentioned in To Be or Not to Be earlier of Mel Brooks working with his strengths and weaknesses. All right. A little noisy, but you're still with us. Yeah, the 12 Chairs. There is a relationship, an antagonistic turning to friendly relationship with our two leads, and
hear me?
I could. You're with me. It's just noisy. I'm yelling. Yeah, we're picking up a lot of ambient noise at this point. Hot out. Chip Chipperson making his second appearance as we get some audio issues. Sound like that. All right, we're not overly loud now. We don't have all that background noise interfering at this point. But the 12 Chairs.
We good now?
Yes, we're back. We
have headphones.
I
got to switch headphones. My battery wore out.
Yeah, I thought that might happen. Mine, yeah. I might be at the end of my life too here on my one. I know there's a more intelligent way to do this than Bluetooth in one of my ears, but this is the way I know how to do it for now.
Right.
I'll have to get a producer to tell me, no, you're doing it wrong. I know I'm doing it kind of wrong, but it works. This setup. 12 Chairs. I don't think Mel Brooks should have directed because of the developing relationship with the two lead characters. It was based on a book. There's some fun parts in it, but overall, the relationship between the two characters, I believe he realized his weakness in this movie, went more zany, and in To Be or Not to Be, handed off the reins of director to someone else.
So he learned from his, not necessarily mistakes, but
it was a mistake. He would have been a great producer. He wasn't the best director in being able to communicate the two leads of the 12 Chairs, developing relationship from antagonistic to actually becoming buddies. So he learned what his strengths and weaknesses were, and then from that point on, we got zany with Blazing Saddles, zany, and took him 2 movies. With the low budget producers and the kind of a miss, kind of pop fly, kind of foul ball, not a strike, but a foul ball, I'd call it, with the 12 Chairs. Life Stinks was a strike.
Yeah.
He has a great batting average. He directed 9 fantastic movies, 1 middling movie and 1 stinker, which is Life Stinks, and not zany. Like he's trying to do some a take on society and the rich. A rich man has to live as a poor man for a month, and I just don't care about the characters. One of the homeless people dies, and I just don't care.
It wasn't. I mean, the one scene that really sticks out that I remember is when he's seeing the one black kid. He's dancing. He's like, hot two, skilly doo, hot two, and the kid's dancing, and he's seeing that all these people are giving this kid money, So that he goes down the next corner and starts doing the same kind of dancing, and nobody's paying attention to him. Nobody's
Doing the
giving him
exact
money.
same thing, yeah.
And
That's kind of silly.
he's getting more mad, like hot too, skilly do hot. And I just thought that was kind of funny. Like he's getting mad that nobody's giving him money. Kind of like somebody else we know in this universe.
Yeah, someone else who thinks you can do better when you just give a little something or nothing at all. There were a couple of fun things in here, but yeah, it doesn't take place in the zany world. This feels like the real world. At this point, I think Mel Brooks in the 90s wasn't the proper choice for the leading man in this. The 90s, as we said with Robin Hood Men in Tights, it wasn't on the top tier. And this is actually a fun little physical gag that I wish the movie had more of, because we get some little sprinklings of fun Mel Brooks stuff. Some of the homeless guys are great. Here he is on his first night, just trying to find somewhere to sleep.
See, I mean,
and there's sprinklings of this in the movie.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we have it sprinkled in this movie. But all in all, he seems to be trying to make some commentary in this. So going outside his wheelhouse. So got to commend him for that, for trying something different this late in his career after he's just been absolutely zany for 20 years almost at this point. For 1970s 12 Chairs is a little goofy, but very much in the real world. It looks beautiful, by the way. 12 Chairs, shot in Yugoslavia. It takes place in Russia. I knew it wasn't Russia. Do you know the ridiculous movie that was the first American movie to be filmed in Russia?
No.
Police Academy 7. of all the movies to hold the place of first American movie.
Is that the one where Bobcat Goldthwait, the minor character from Police Academy 2, is like the main character now?
I'm pretty sure Bobcat's long gone. Steve Guttenberg only stuck around for 4. I think Lassard and Michael Winslow, who we didn't even mention from Spaceballs, using him to his strengths when Lone Star jammed the signal,
radar,
the beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
The creeps. Yeah.
With literal jam. Fun stuff we still haven't touched on is other movies that we can call back to, where we have Life Stinks here. The bag lady. I've seen some good performances by some actresses who really get that crazy in their eye that like, ooh, she looks insane. Then they call cut and it's over. But this bag lady, I think she was just chosen because she's a dancer. There's not a big song, but there is a big dance at some point in this with this bag lady who used to be a dancer. And yeah, once again, I just don't really care about the bag lady and the romance between her and Mel Brooks's rich character. Kind of a fun idea with a bulldozer battle at the end, and they use dinosaur sound effects. So
yes,
even though this is his worst movie, there's some sprinklings of some fun things. But yeah, the attempted social commentary didn't work out for him.
It's a funny movie, but it's not really a Mel Brooks movie.
No, not a Mel Brooks movie.
I forgot
to bring up the screenshot. I did get a giggle out of the model of the part of town that they want to convert. But both Mel Brooks and the reason that he's trying to be a poor person is for a bet to take over this shitty part of Los Angeles and develop it with Jeffrey Tambor as the other rich man who he has the bet with. And what I love about that shitty part of town is just outside that model, 2 blocks over is Hipster Central, where they have gone and started renovating that for hipsters, and the best damn bar arcade in all of Los Angeles. So that's kind of also a dance club as well, is just 2 blocks outside of that model of the shittiest part of Los Angeles. And yes, Skid Row is right there. So of course that's where the hipsters go to diversify with their hipster money, is in that shitty part of town. Overall, I think this was him trying to make a change, get out of the zany and do a little bit of social commentary. That he went right back to the zany with Men in Tights.
Men in Tights after that. Yeah.
Attempted to keep it going with Dracula, Dead and Loving It, but yeah, I think he realized that he was off a step at that point with the Dracula movie. So after Life Stinks, he realized that he was going in the wrong direction, trying to do something new. He's great at zany. He's got sprinkled in here, fun stuff sprinkled in, but I need to care about these characters, and I don't.
For sure.
The two I mentioned specifically of the bag lady and the homeless man that dies, I don't care. Swing and a miss. Nice attempt to make something happen there. I really don't have much else to say about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was, there's funny parts, but it's not. I mean, see it, go see it, make up your own mind. But
it is free on Tubi, so recommend that. And that's how I watched Dracula Dead and Loving It. That wasn't on our list. I watched it for the first time. Just looking at the trailers, there was something amiss with Dracula Dead and Loving It. And I think it was miscast, as I mentioned, with Leslie Nielsen should have been Van Helsing. Mel Brooks should have had a smaller role. At this point in 1991, 1995, his smaller cameo roles were more fitting for where he was at, rather than a big role like leading in this, and a decent amount of screen time in Dracula Dead and Loving It. But that's how you learn that you're off a step, is that you take that step and you fucking miss.
Yeah. That's why pencils have erasers.
A few fun parts. Stinker overall. Social commentary that takes a swing and a miss. And luckily, unlike some people we know who will have a political show for years on end with having nothing to say about politics and just keep on going, Mel Brooks realized, nope, this social commentary I'd like to get into, not my thing.
Right. He kind of did it with To Be or Not to Be as well, but it wasn't. It was more of not so much social commentary, just commentary on. Now you know what, I'm gonna take that back. Let's edit this out from when you
cut that part out too.
Yeah, cut that part out.
We got Chipperson that's going to get in and cut 3 parts of this out later. But yeah, that's why he was still on fire in the 80s. 1983, he realized he was still a proper leading man in this in 1983. Get to 8 years later, not so much. And he handed off the reins, very heavily involved as the lead actor and the producer. Not like the producer trying to make an awful movie for no profits. The producer trying to make this movie be good. He realized he needed to hand off the reins to someone more capable. And a storied career, just a couple of missteps, and he course corrected when he realized his weaknesses and stopped after Dracula Dead and Loving It. A unranked movie, not on the best or the worst list, as his biggest misstep here.
Yeah,
stopped at the proper time after a couple of missteps, getting back into zany and realizing my batting average isn't what it once was. He put it down. He of course got the producers back touring as a musical and as the updated film that I do need to check out. I don't know why I didn't check it out earlier or to this point. You said the effeminate Nathan Lane makes you like, well, this womanizer. Why is he so effeminate?
Yeah. But now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, if he's a con man, it would make sense then that, again, I haven't seen this version. So, I mean, it may be where, he's, when he's talking with his old ladies with his with his sugar mamas that he's, oh, hello there, how are you? I'm not the effeminate Nathan Lane. I don't know. That would be, if they did that. I mean, obviously the fucking movie's been out for 100 years now. So, but that's
that one's almost 20 years old. The 2005 version. The play has, I think it's still touring. Maybe not. Some local theater is definitely doing it, but producers definitely lent itself to be a full-on musical or a theater version. And that was Mel Brooks's movies. The top 9, bottom 1, and
took them all out.
And we went over 2 unranked that are okay. They're okay. They're somewhere on the tier list. They're not DF tier. And even as we talked about, Life Stinks. Life Stinks, I guess, is D tier, not F tier. As we picked out little things we enjoyed from it, but absolutely his stinker in a storied career. Thank you, Mel Brooks, for making such zany stuff. Any final words before I go ahead and end this program?
No, it was fun. Love Mel Brooks. This is I had a good time. No, this is fantastic.
And glad we were able to keep this under 3 hours and still give a nice overlook of the top 9 and bottom 1 of Mel Brooks. Thank you for joining me, American Cupcake.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
And thank you for joining me in the audience. Now, feel free to go away.
Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for going on this adventure with me. It's fun being with friends. I'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Places all join hands, circle left. Now circle right and listen to me. LS, MFT. Elementary corners like swinging on a gate. To right, dear honey, with the right to left date. Grand right and left, around you go. Lucky strike means fine tobacco. Meet your honey and give her a whirl. All swing around with the little girls. Smoke 'em, then you'll see. LS, MFT. Promenade and don't you fall. Promenade around the hall. Lucky strike is first again with tobacco men. Promenade straight down the pike. It's time right now for a lucky strike. Yes, for smoking that you're bound to like, you just can't beat a lucky strike.